What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Island Hopper TV coming to you from San Francisco. So I've just crossed the pond, the Atlantic on this side. I just did around the world. So I went um, from Montreal to London, and then I did the Europe thing, and I went through Dubai, and then ended up back in Asia, Singapore, and then spent some time up in China. Went off grid. You guys probably didn't hear from me too much because I was in China, which does not support internet activity connectivity to Western channels. And then uh, after China, I went towards Taiwan, which is part of the People's Republic of China, but not a part of China. Um, and then I flew to San Francisco on a 10-hour or a 12-hour flight, basically. So in this video, I want to talk about my experience in China, the two times that I've gone inland. So Hong Kong, Macau, I've been to a handful of times. I've been to Hong Kong at least 5 to 10 times, like so many I can't even count them now. To Hong Kong, I've been to Macau, what, 4 times? And I went to Shanghai, I've gone to Guangzhou, I've gone to Shenzhen, and I just want to kind of talk about some of the things that I've learned about China and share that with people in the United States. And I would say that of all the countries in the world that are first tier, China is definitely in a league of its own in many more ways than one. I mean, they have enough uh, people population there to they don't need the rest of the world. Although one of the things that I will say is they have a lot of Western technology that makes it great, but you don't see any real inventions or creativity coming from them. They're just really good at copying things and doing it better. So they like if Americans created, say, a train system, the Chinese make it better. If Americans create a highway system, the Chinese kind of make it better. I guess you could say as far as socially, I'm not so sure about technologically, but yeah. So you guys are asking, did I play casino in Macau and screw China with their crypto bans? Yeah. So there's some comments coming in about stuff like that. If you guys thumbs up the video so that we can get this video out to our community too, that'd be cool. But yeah, we're going to talk about a lot of that there, Boss Man and Senzowi Leaf. So I wanted to talk to you guys about China because it's really an important player on the global stage. I mean, every time I go to China, I'm more and more impressed, and I just think about certain things and I analyze things and how you hear about these trade wars that are happening, and you think about how there's a lot more than just trade wars. It could lead to other things, wars. Okay. And these might not be happening today, but they could be happening in the next 10 to 20 to 30 years. You never know how fast things can escalate, especially with how the Chinese are rising. For the most part, Chinese people as a collective are really pretty peaceful people. They're nonviolent. They're not you're not gonna get stabbed or hurt, probably. I mean, there might be an anomaly situation that pops up occasionally. I don't know. I mean, you hear about it on the news, but for the most part, there's a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people. You'll never see such a density of people like you see in China in these cities. Like even Taiwan. Taiwan is by far, if you want to just get a taste of China and you want to make sure it's really smooth sailing, go to Taiwan. Taiwan is great. As a matter of fact, they're fighting back the Chinese occupation of China. So China it considers Taiwan a rogue province and that they need to come back to the motherland. And the Taiwanese are saying, no, 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 we want to stay like a capitalism kind of society. But the Chinese government's trying to get them to be a part of the bigger Chinese machine. But if you go to Taiwan, there is a lot of people. I mean, it's I'm not saying it's just the density. It's a small island, but each city has such a dense population. But the people in Taiwan are way different than regular mainland Chinese. They're friendly. They smile at you. They're accommodating. So if you want to get Chinese culture without the internet problems and like the language barriers and all the other kind of problems that go along with going to mainland China, Taiwan's where you want to go, and Taipei. So that place is great. But to get back onto China, so there's a couple levels. It's kind of like the caste system, but not the caste system. It's like a level 1 city, level 2 city, level 3 city. So a level 1 city is like Shanghai, Beijing, Shenzhen, Guangzhou, basically their first world cities. So inside of China, they have like a first world climate, a second world climate, and a third world climate. So like the provinces are more like the third world, where hygiene's still an issue, disease and all that. And second the second world kind of cities are up and coming, developing. And here's the thing, those second world cities, many of them will become like the first world cities. But the third world, so China's just slowly bringing everything up. Just the standard of living for even the peasants is climbing. Okay. um yeah, it's a pretty good life. Thanks to everyone who's pushed up the like. We got two, so two of you pushed up the like for me, and that's what helped grow this community or this video out there. But let's keep on subject about China. So these first tier cities are growing at hyperspeed. I mean, what we saw in Dubai is impressive, but take Dubai and then add in the manpower, the massive amounts of manpower. Um, China has the manpower because they have so many people, but now they're accumulating the wealth to be able to spend that money to put the manpower to good use or to work for them. And I saw that in Shenzhen. Shenzhen has this big, tall, or this, they call it the Silicon Valley of China, which is funny because I'm in Silicon Valley right now in the United States. But the Silicon Valley of China, Shenzhen, they have one. The two more that they're building are going to be even more amazing than the one that's already existing. So, for me to see that kind of growth, I'm like, where in the United States are they even doing stuff like this? And Shenzhen is just one of their cities that they're building at this level, this rate. Okay. So this expansive growth, it's crazy because Americans can no longer look down on China. There's no way that you can look down on China anymore because China is doing one of these, and the United States, you could say the United States is going like this, kind of. Some would say it's going like this, but we're still, I think, probably one of the greatest countries on earth. But um, yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask, by the way, and we'll keep this video going. But uh, as far as like health and health concerns, people spit a lot in China. You'll be just walking down the street, they spit in the trash cans, hawk loogies. You'll even see people publicly urinating still, which is not very first worldish. Um, but it happens, and you should know about it from a hygiene perspective. You'll be walking down this street, looking at street vendors, maybe going there for some dim sum or something, and you'll see the chef just sneezing without covering his mouth, and you see the just going like this, whoosh, whoosh, coughing violently without covering his mouth in the kitchen like that, and it's like normal. No one looks down on it. So it's like maybe that's why everything's hot. Like the water is hot. If you drink hot water or if you drink cold water, they're going to lecture you on why you should drink hot water if they speak English, which many of them don't speak English. So in mainland China, English is a barrier. If you don't know it, or Chinese, English barrier, you need to learn Chinese pretty much in China. It's not like one of these cities where you just set up there and hope that people know English, because they don't. They have no reason to. You'll be able to bring any gadgets back from China. Oh, interesting question, because that leads me to the discussion about tariffs. So if I wanted to buy a Bose headset or a pair of Nikes, I'm looking at about a 45% markup for the tariff. So if a pair of Nikes cost $100 in the United States, they're $145 in China because of the tariff. That tax goes to the Chinese government. So if you want cheap gadgets, if they're Chinese made, yes, you could get them for a cheaper price, because there's now going to be a tariff on imports from China with what Trump's trying to do, which is politically probably a good decision, but it's going to hit the the consumers in the United States pretty hard, like it hits the Chinese consumer pretty hard for American or foreign imports, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. So if you're looking to go to Beijing and buy a pair of Bose speakers when you get there, not a good idea. Buy them before you go, save yourself the tax. And that's super relevant for those of you who are trying to go. But let's see what else. Obesity. I get off the plane here in America, I'm immediately reminded of obesity. When I'm in China, I don't see obesity. So why Americans have become so obese and I see so much obesity in our society, I do not know. Like I'm just saying generally fatter people, bigger people. Uh, I don't have a problem with it as long as they're healthy. I mean, well, either way, it's not my problem, right? But as far as a society goes, just people they're not like ripped. Like you're not gonna see a bunch of jack dudes like and girls like workout machines, but you do see just people just thinner. A lot more old people too. Maybe that's why they just live longer, even in China, than the United States. I think. I don't know. I'd have to check the data on that. But I mean, if you guys have any questions about China, I'm here to answer. But the big thing that I want to drive home is that China's coming hard, and they've got enough people to take over the world. Like it kept coming to my mind, like there's so many people in China that if I'm the Chinese government, of course I'm thinking about where to occupy land. I'd be looking at if I was the Chinese government, I'd have Australia hot on the radar. Big land mass, scarcely populated, and even Africa, like China is already moving into Africa. They've built big cities in Africa. I mean, this is the kind of stuff they think about when their when their country becomes so overpopulated, like their fertility level is through the roof. I mean, they've got so many people. It's crazy. Like you can tell by my uh feeling here. I was just so blown away by it. Anyways, guys, if you guys have any questions and you're out there, it doesn't look like too many people are out there right now. It's probably late, so only got 6 people watching and 3 people have liked the video, so um, probably a little late for you guys. So I apologize. It's just I just got in town from Taipei, and just while it was fresh on my mind, I wanted to put it out there about China. So that's integration very good. So if they don't do integration too good, if you're not Chinese citizen, you won't be managing anything. You'll have like a peasant. You'll be working underneath Chinese. That's what I'm saying. So if there's no multicultural opportunities, and you're working for the Chinese who are taking over the world because they sheer devour people and all that. So I think it's good that you have balance. Like I think it's good that China's there to keep America and check. Russia's there to keep that kind of balance. But yeah, China is stealing some sustained population. Yeah, well, some island won't do much for a. It's pretty big. And the population, like I said, cities like your shoulders, and it's unlike the dead population. Like I said many times in the videos, insane. It's almost exhausting. How to have to be around the people. It's like being in a club. Imagine an anthill of people where just when you just move the anthill and it just erupts with people moving in all different directions. Friendly, not trying to push you over, not rude or anything like that. You're not getting any snarly faces. It's just so many people in every city. It's like that. Shanghai, Guangzhou, Macau, just their fertility is great. I mean, amazing fertility. I'm not so sure that the Western world fertility that China's got. So no patience. I don't. No, there's not even there's not like there's a lot of single Chinese women, but there's some pregnant women. There's obviously a lot of little kids, because but there's still plenty. There's still plenty of women who don't even find people that, like, even if like the majority of their population didn't have kids, people having kids, it's just amazing. All right, guys. Yeah. So I just felt like that's fresh off my head, saying like, "Oh, forget China, they're nothing," this and that. That's the wrong side of the coin to be on, man. Pushover. You wouldn't want to. You would not go to anyone. It would. That would be like a catastrophe. Oh, buffering. All right, guys. I'm out. I'll see you later.